The Congressional Western Caucus has advocated for agricultural and rural Americans for more than 30 years, and they have clear priorities for the 119th session. And today we are reviving our partnership with the Western Caucus Foundation and our Champions of Rural America project, which you'll now see as a weekly segment here on Market Day Report. We are honored now to be joined by Caucus Chairman Doug LaMalfa of California. We appreciate your time, Congressman.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Agriculture is certainly a top priority for the caucus and your 90-plus members. Tell us what you hope to accomplish this coming year.
Well, we have a big agenda here that we want to work alongside with President Trump to have America be strong on energy independence and basically food independence. We want to be dependent on American crops and American farmers, and this is the window to do that. We have a farm bill we need to pass this year. No more extensions. We want to do a quality 5-year farm bill. So those are two of the quick things that are very high on our agenda that the president has shown support for as well.
Absolutely. Grazing on public lands is a big deal in the West. What are some of the issues that the caucus wants to work on for this Congress?
Well, grazing has been under fire a lot with the way the permitting process has gone in the West. The environmental organizations just want to really limit the ability for cattle and other livestock to use these public lands. And we find that it's really a solution for fire safety, decreasing fire danger in our Western lands. And there's an income that can be realized to the government for these lands otherwise being unused. And so it's a great tool. It's not some kind of experiment we've known for many years. Any rancher could tell you that the cattle working the land is a positive for the landscape, certainly for keeping the fuels down for fire purposes, and it's a positive for economy, positive for jobs. So there's no lose on it. It's a win-win. And so we want to be able to have ranchers have an easier process to get these grazing permits and not have competition. There seems to be more of an issue of the NGOs coming in trying to compete and take these grazing rights and then just idle the land, which maybe that's okay in some people's minds, but you find that unmanaged lands after a while are the next tinderbox.
Of course, catastrophic wildfires have dominated the headlines recently, including in your home state of California. Can you speak about how to better prevent future fires?
Kind of tying back into the grazing conversation is that when we manage our forest lands, when we manage our grass and brush lands. Now, when you talk about Los Angeles, for example, they weren't extremely forested close to the cities involved. They had a lot of brush lands there that until fairly recently, they had kind of a brush management program that for some reason they suspended. So when you got those Santa Ana winds pushing fire from the east over to the west like that, it just has a giant runway through all that brush to put it right upon the doorstep of Pacific Palisades and Altadena and the other towns affected. So we've suffered with that plenty in my Northern California district with the complete loss of the town of Paradise, Greenville, Canyon Dam, Berry Creek. I mean, these aren't quite as headline grabbing as they're not in an urban area. Paradise, of course, with 85 lost lives was national news. And my colleagues in the other Western states suffer the same thing frequently as well. So we have to have forest management, which means the ability to harvest trees, remove the fuels. Grazing is a piece of that, but also mechanical harvest is a very important part of that. And the more that we have the hands-off approach to going into our federal lands, U.S. Forest Service land, BLM land where applicable, we're just going to have more of this problem. And so with the Farm Bill, we have some pieces in there that's going to make forest management a little easier, have a little wider clearance around power lines, along roadways. We need what's called categorical exclusions to make it easier. Instead of a burdensome permit process, you can have more of a lightning speed one to do things that are already common sense and have already been proven. It really shouldn't be that tough. Right. And we need the forest products anyway. People need wood and paper products. Why, for example, is the United States #1 importer of wood when, just for example, my own backyard, 400,000 acres burned last year, and the Dixie Fire was 1 million acres? Why do we do this? And so we'll get a lot more wins, again, for the management of the lands, the health of the lands, health of the air and the water, and the economies that used to be so strong in our local small towns.
Right. Congressman Doug LaMalfa, thanks for joining us.